Spy X Family has taken the anime community by storm ever since its recent anime release across the past few weeks, showing anime fans for the first time what it's like to finally get some bitches. The show dedicates itself to telling the fun stories of a secret assassin, a secret spy, and a secret telepath who live as a fake family together as they try and hide their secrets. It's a fun, simple premise that a lot of people can get behind, with some amazing animation from the studio behind it, some awesome writing, and some great anime-only scenes that weren't included in the manga, which really caught my attention, seeing the studio go above and beyond, like Kaguya-sama's recent adaptation, to make the product as good as it possibly could be, while not going for the bare minimum, and instead opting to put their all into making the show the best it could possibly be. I and many other people have really enjoyed what's come out of Spy X Family recently. It's something I'm really happy to see adapted, considering I read through the manga, and I'm glad to see it get the love I believe it deserves. The problem is, whenever you get positivity in the anime community, some degenerates are gonna crawl out of the woodworks to give you their disgusting, decrepit, gross, creepy takes on the show, on characters, and make some tweets that make everyone sigh, or in some cases vomit, at the things they're saying. Though, before I begin, if you don't want to get your shit rocked the same way I rocked Damien's, I'd suggest clicking the subscribe button down below. I'm aiming for 100,000 subscribers, so that I can be 1/12 as successful as Trash Taste, which is actually a really scary thought when I think about it. I'd appreciate the support because I've been doing this for a long while, and the only goal I've ever had with this channel is really to reach 100k making content on my own terms. So I appreciate the support, and maybe in the next few months I can have one of those little verified ticks so I can start commenting on every video I like and get the top comment for free, while everybody and their several family members reply to that comment saying I'm clout farming, because that seems to be the only reason you would comment on a video as a verified channel, according to YouTube commenters. Dude, every time I see a verified channel comment on a video, I always see the reply with someone saying they're doing it for the clout, and I want that to be me. Okay, that's enough of the fun stuff for this video. Let's go into some of the most depraved posts I've ever seen, and something that makes it so hard for me to engage with this anime, and as a byproduct is making it harder for me to watch this anime, despite it being amazing, despite me loving the source work this anime is adapting, despite me idolizing the way this show has been handled with care. This community surrounding the show is so unbelievably annoying, gross, and fucking disgusting that every time I try and engage with this show or community, I find myself deciding maybe it's just best if I don't. Because whenever I try and engage with this community, or even take a look at what the community is doing, I see some fucking stupid post about how, for example, this self-proclaimed preschool teacher wouldn't blame the main character if he tried to look up Anya's skirt, saying he knows he definitely wouldn't have had enough restraint and would have taken the opportunity to peek. Now, I get that this is probably a bait account that's trying to fuck with people and intentionally made to get people's attention and get bait reactions. Regardless, why you would post something like this online, I do not understand. This, and I'm sure there's people who really believe this or hold this opinion outside of this figure who's spearheading the statement, this is so fucking weird, dude. How do you take such an innocent and pure show and post this creepy, weird shit like this, dude? It makes me so fucking... oh my god. I don't know why I feed into these reactions, because I know it's what people like this are looking for, but then I also know in the same regard, there's people like Hypnotist Sappho, straight up zoo files that exist on the internet talking about it. So, at this point, I don't know what's bait or what's not anymore. I don't know whether I'm overreacting, but this is fucking weird, dude. This is weird to see an anime character, and especially as a self-proclaimed teacher, say you wouldn't have had enough restraint not to look up their skirt. It's creepy. And it makes it so much harder to watch this show knowing there's these fucking weirdos in the community who make me, as a consequence of their statements, feel gross and slimy. This is why I'm scared to tell people I like anime, dude. People like this, who give anime fans this gross representation as if they're these 40-year-old troglodytes in their basement. But it's not like this is even close to the only post. There's another post by someone who I don't think is bait, just based off the fact they have a socks profile picture, and if you know what anime that's from, it already gives you a good inclination of what type of person this person is. And I've seen posts from people showing other posts they've liked or posted on their Twitter. But regardless, this post talking about how if this child in Spy X Family was alone with them, people should expect the child to get pregnant is fucking weird. In fact, this tweet was so bad, it got flagged and taken down by Twitter because it violated the terms of service. And what also gets on my nerves is the fact they failed to spell family in the hashtag. I don't know if that's intentional, but regardless, I'm a little grammar nerd pushing my glasses up with my middle finger as I critique their spelling. But like, regardless, dude, this post is fucking weird. But I also gotta talk about how on the flip side, people on TikTok are going so dramatic at Spy X Family and trying to make this weird correlation when there simply isn't one. With this post reading, I hate the way they symbolize the little girl in this show whenever she's with her dad, which just doesn't happen. Literally doesn't happen. And it makes me feel so confused, because if you've watched this show, there's no scene like that, and it seems like this person was just looking for something to get outraged at, attaching a scene where the dad is proud of the daughter because she got accepted into a school and spins her around in a circle. Very normal scene, there was nothing weird about it, but people have to find something to take the moral high ground about and complain about, so here we are with posts like this. While as people are making up an issue and a reason to get mad at this community in this show, there are actually issues in this community with fan artists who are being harassed purely based off of their race. And this is something I was really disappointed about, but this is something very common in the anime community. There was a cosplayer called Ali Lees, whose cosplay was actually really good, by the way, of Yor, and I actually saw this post before I saw these replies, and I sent some support to it because it's genuinely a really good cosplay. The outfit's very well made. But then you open the quote retweets, and they're awful. It's completely unacceptable for a community to be this hateful just based off of someone's race and act as if they aren't allowed to enjoy the same series purely because of their race. With one person saying, "Why is your mirror so dirty?" Then dropping the N-bomb, and then saying people of a different race need to stop cosplaying as anime girls. But this isn't the only post. There was also a post that reads, "I thought she had rights for a second," and another post saying, "Mummy, look, it's N-word, Yor." It's not funny. It's not cool. It's not in any way entertaining to just seek attention through hatefulness. It's sad that your first reaction to seeing someone enjoying themselves and having fun with a series is to jump to racism and to start completely unjustifiably harassing them for no other reason than they are a different race than you. It's so gross, dude, and it becomes so hard to engage with the anime community. I hate the fact that this community, more than almost any other community, has these hunchback creeps sat in the corner typing on their laptop trying to get an own by dropping the N-bomb in reply to people trying to live their lives, dude. And I don't get how it's so normalized or common within the anime community that I can bring up tweets like this person's that reads, "I have never seen anything more repulsive in my life. Maybe a real life black is, but I don't see that very often," in reply to a really cool edit of Anya. Not that that was the only quote retweet though, because there was also one that reads, "Spy X Fatherless Household," which somehow has 300 likes. God, this community fucking sucks, dude. And to state the obvious, if I see any comments like this on this channel related to any sort of minority group, you will just be banned. I don't care if you're a long-term supporter, a donator, I've had that happen in the past. I don't care who you are. If you engage in this shit, you are not welcome in my community. There are various other tweets I could cover in this video as free punching bags to stretch out this video by stating the obvious and opinions that most people will agree with me on, but instead I think I'd like to discuss something a little bit more controversial, because I've seen a lot of people aging up Anya recently to create sexualized artwork, and I've seen a lot of people defend it or justify it, saying it's totally okay and normal for people to want to age up characters, and trying to tie this to false equivalences like characters like Sailor Moon, who are much closer to adults and people could have grown up with them characters, when in reality I think it is incredibly weird to see a 4 to 5 year old character in a series and immediately decide you want to create sexualized art of them, not even a few months into the anime adaptation's broadcasting cycle. I think that is really weird that you would see this character, have some form of attraction towards them, and decide you wanted to represent that through incredibly artwork. Like, for example, the artwork created by Sakami-chan, an art piece that I think you probably shouldn't be creating of a 5-year-old character just a few months after they've been shown to the public in their serialized content. Like, how would you explain this to anyone who goes outside every once in a while? "Oh, I was just creating this art piece that was NSFW of this underage character who is supposed to be 5. Oh, well, it's fine, I made them look older, which means it's perfectly normal and reasonable, and there is no red flags about the fact this character was just released to the public a few weeks ago, and I've already started drawing artwork of them like this. There is definitely no warning signs. Please believe me." I think that's really weird and sets off every red flag possible, especially when there's a Patreon NSFW version of this art piece. I'm not necessarily going to say the person who did this is in any way a predator. I do think it's a really big red flag and really weird though that you would see this character, this 5-year-old character in its respective series, and go, I'd like to create of them. And I don't know how this post has 40,000 likes, but it does. And I think maybe I'm crazy, but it's not a good thing to be promoting this post and supporting this artist who's creating this artwork. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't really care. I'm not trying to ruin their career or whatever over this. I'm just saying, maybe this isn't something to be applauded. But with that being said, as I mentioned at the start, if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing or I will beat the shit out of you. That was a joke. You will get a free cookie though. You won't. I'm lying. I'm completely lying to you. I'm bold-faced lying to you. But I'll tell you it anyway in hopes someone is gullible enough to believe that and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. As I mentioned, aiming for 100k. Feel free to have your opinions on whatever I said in this video. I genuinely couldn't care less. Just don't bug me with them. I think what I think. You think what you think. We're allowed to think different things. That should be normalized in society, having different opinions. Cool. You can also check out my Twitter if you'd like to support me over there. You'll see me rage and mold about these posts before you ever see them in video form. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with a nigga like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with a nigga like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with a nigga like me.